My name is Desmond, and it's nice to meet you. I am a young adult who suffers from a tissue ailment known as Marfan syndrome. This condition affects the entirety of my body and has been with me since I was a child. I had very weak tissue that linked the lens to my eye till I was 15 years old. This condition caused vision problems for me. This caused the sufferer to have debilitating double vision. It wasn't until I had 2 reconnective procedures that I was able to achieve 20/20 vision. In the past, my eyesight ranged between 2300 and 2400. Due to the severity of my asthma, I must ensure that I always have an inhaler with me. In addition to that, I have an enlarged aorta, which requires me to take medicine. This is why I underwent an aortic valve replacement operation in 2014. In 2013, I went in for an EKG to evaluate if the aorta had expanded any. After the exam, my heart doctor told me that I would require an aortic valve replacement operation as it had grown since the prior test. I didn't know how hazardous this operation was. When it came time for the procedure, I was admitted to the hospital. The day before my operation, a woman who was a social worker visited me and asked me if there was anything I wanted to do before my surgery. I laughed her off and answered, no. Unbeknownst to me at the time, the social workers anticipated that I would pass away during the operation, and as a result, they wished to bestow upon me one more pleasure before my passing. I simply considered myself to be fortunate. I had a lot of anxiety the morning before the operation, so I tried to distract myself by watching television. I was carried into the operating room at the designated time to have the anesthetic administered. I had bid farewell to my family. As I write this, I am overcome with a sense of melancholy in remembering. I have a deep and abiding affection for my family. During the procedure, I was under anesthesia and asleep till I woke up having difficulty breathing. Despite my best efforts, I was unable to avoid having an asthma attack during my procedure. The surgeons had no idea that this was even a possibility, so they scrambled to get a ventilator as quickly as they could. I was unable to breathe and I passed out for a few seconds. In the midst of passing out from suffocation, I started to feel calm and thought to myself, I'm dying. The end has come. I was suddenly shown that I was lying down on the surgery table. Then I looked over to saw my mother weeping. I tried to tell her I love you, but she wasn't able to hear me. I looked around and saw my family sitting in the waiting room as the surgeons were quickly setting up the ventilator. After I had recovered, the surgeons assured me that I was correct in my observations of what they were doing. It was confirmed by my mother that she was sobbing, and it was also established that the rest of my family was in the waiting area. After that, I discovered that I was in a dark place that NDErs refer to as the void. It's what I refer to as the dark place. Even though I did not have any feelings or ideas throughout my stay in the dark place, I was still conscious. In the dark place, there was nothing to see, nothing to feel, and nothing to know. During the event, I was not aware of any feelings that I was experiencing. I was robbed of my identity, along with my memories and feelings. Out of the blue, a very booming voice addressed me out of the blue all of a sudden. The male voice spoke out in a loud and deliberate manner, saying, God. After that, they worked quickly to revive me and then put me into a coma for medical reasons. I was in a coma for around 14 days. When I initially opened my eyes, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I heard God. But I cannot recall ever having said that. As I recovered from the operation, I was out of school for the subsequent 4 months. I was unable to walk for a whole month, and I had a significant scar on my chest as a result. Afterthought. From the age of 9 till the age of 15, I was an atheist. Even though I had a strong dislike for the Christian God, I did not believe in his existence. It wasn't until a few months after my encounters that I came to the conclusion that there must be a deity. I didn't start believing in the God of Christianity until 2016, when, via a religious process of elimination, I realized that I heard the same God that the Jews and Christians believe in. Each deity in ancient and contemporary religions had a name, and most of them still do. To me, God revealed his name simply as God. According to the Bible, God possessed a deep, thunderous, male voice. This is how the Bible depicts God's voice. I think that Sheol, which is neither heaven nor hell, is where the dark place is located. It is known as the grave and is the resting place for the living dead. In the Bible, the place known as Sheol is compared as darkness. I feel that it is impossible for me to join the presence of God due to the fact that I did not remain dead and that my guilt was not atoned for. The happiness that comes from knowing God exists. My position is that the naturalistic worldview is erroneous, despite the fact that it provides an existentially satisfying explanation. Our lives are not particularly lengthy, and once we die, everyone will have the opportunity to see God.